Hi there, my name's Bryony. I'm the head of coaching here at Relish, and today we're talking about 5 ways to address a sexless marriage. So, if you're experiencing this problem in your relationship, it probably is causing you quite a bit of distress because we know that sex is a kind of important part of a connection between people, and it can be really upsetting, particularly if one of the partners is wanting it to be different, so is frustrated or feels lonely due to the lack of sex. Or it could be that both people are pretty happy not to have sex because there's some issues between them. So it can be really important to kind of understand what's going on behind the scenes when this first started, and also what you want to do about it as well, and whether this is something that you're okay with kind of going into the future. So here are some tips for kind of getting started on working on this issue. Tip number 1 is work on communication and expressing your wants and needs. So it might be that the lack of sex is actually due to the fact that neither of you is aware of the other person's sexual needs or even your own needs, or it hasn't actually been communicated. We all have different levels of comfort with talking about sex and talking about what we might want in bed, and this can sometimes get in the way of actually asking our partners for what we want or giving them feedback about what feels good and what doesn't. So if you suspect that this is kind of one of the issues in your relationship, it might be helpful to have a look at Relish. There's some great exercises around sexual communication and being able to get through to your partner around what you need. It might even be as simple as just writing a letter to them talking about, what you would like in bed, and vice versa. So just kind of taking little steps around talking around this and not seeing it as an issue or as a pathology thing, but more about, maybe we just need to meet each other halfway and understand each other a bit more. The second tip is explore other ways to be intimate. So we can sometimes forget that sexual intimacy is just kind of one part of the connection between two people. There can also be emotional intimacy, so talking about things with each other. You can have platonic intimacy, so you can be giving each other massages or cuddling. You can be spending time together, bonding in other different ways. So if sex isn't a possibility for you at the moment, whether that's due to health issues or libido issues, you can probably still have time of bonding and connecting with your partner as well, which can really improve the quality of your relationship too. Tip number 3 is deal with your underlying problems. So as noted, a lack of sex in the marriage can also be due to things like depression, trauma, grief, pain, medical conditions. So just getting a sense of what's actually the issue that's leading to this. Is it something that can be dealt with separately? Do I need to maybe seek out some specialist help? Do I need to have my own therapy to address this issue? Perhaps we do need to have relationship coaching or counselling to stop us from having these big arguments which are stopping us from feeling safe with each other. So just see if you can address the underlying problems, and then once those are out of the way, it could be that intimacy kind of reignites. Tip number 4 is meeting needs outside of the marriage. And of course, this isn't for everybody, but for some people, if they're in a relationship where sex isn't something that's happening and it's really important to one or both of the partners, there can be the exploration of an open relationship or polyamory. So we've got a lot of resources on our website around this, because it's really important to kind of understand what the boundaries are here and what this entails. But for some people, it works really well because it can be possible for them to have their sexual needs met outside of the marriage and maintain that bond with their partners. But like I said, it's not for everybody, but it can be a really interesting solution. Tip number 5 is know when to move on. So it really depends on the couple, but for some people there can be that eventual decision that a sexless marriage is not what they want, and they've tried things to address it, but it hasn't actually worked. And then it's a matter of figuring out, well, what do we do now? So sometimes making that decision to move on from a relationship can be incredibly painful, and there can be the need for some support. So whether it's professional support from a relationship coach or therapist, just being able to have that agreement with each other, have that discussion and figure out what this is going to look like to be as emotionally safe for both people. So if you're watching this, I'm guessing that a sexless marriage is an issue for you, or it's something that you're concerned about. And I just wanted to acknowledge that it is a really tricky situation, particularly because it can be really, really difficult to talk about. So if you're interested in getting some support, I'd recommend that you download Relish. There's a 7-day free trial. During that time, you can speak with your relationship coach about this issue. We have a lot of different content which is around this challenge. It's not an unusual thing to be struggling with sex in a marriage. So definitely recommend that you reach out and get some support. We talk to a lot of people who are experiencing this issue, and the good news is that there are some really, really helpful interventions. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you're enjoying our videos, I'd also encourage you to subscribe to our channel. So we put up new content all the time, and we love it when you leave comments and like our videos as well. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.